Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This lecture belongs to the elasticity of demand. What actually elasticity refers in the normal or the routine life? Elasticity refers to the flexibility, means something which is stretchable, and when it relates to the demand, means how stretchable is a demand in response to the price or other factors. So when we relate elasticity of demand with respect to price, it becomes the price elasticity of demand. What actually price elasticity of demand is? The price elasticity of demand is a unit free measure of the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a good to a change in its price when all other influence on buyer's plans remains the same. Means how how much change price brings in the quantity demanded. For example, if we try to see this graph, in this graph we can clearly see that the change in price brings equal change in the demand, but maybe there would be less change in price or higher change in demand, and vice versa. For example, we can see clearly here that there is a higher change in price but less change in demand, and in this case there is a less change in price and higher change in demand. So how much change in demand brings upon by the price is called price elasticity of demand, and simply we can say that percentage change in demand, which is unit free measure, percentage change in demand due to percentage change in price. This is a quite concise formula of the elasticity of demand. And how can we measure change? We can measure change Q2 minus Q1, latter amount of quantity with the minus initial quantity, latter change in price with the initial change in price. So for example, if we see here, when the price of a pizza $20, the quantity amount at this point was 9. Now the price of pizza falls from $20.5 to $19.5, and the amount of the quantity purchased by the consumer increases from 9 to 11. So how can we calculate the elasticity of demand? We first need to calculate the percentage change in demand, which we can measure by the delta Q divided by the delta average, and after that we can attach the percentage sign. For example, Q delta refers to Q2 minus Q1, which is current quantity 11 minus previous quantity 9. This is Q2, this is Q1. So 11 minus 9 becomes 2. Okay. What it is, it actually is the average. 9 plus 11, 20 divided by the 2, which is 10. Now it becomes 1 upon 5 when we divide 2 by the 10. Now what is this? Actually it's a percentage change in price. As we have seen the formula, percentage change in quantity demand divided by the percentage change in price. Now we are calculating the denominator. Percentage change in price, first we need to measure the delta P, which is P2 here 19.50 divide minus 20.50, it becomes $1 divided by $20, which is average. 20.50 plus 19.50, it becomes $40. It divide by the 2, it becomes 20. Now when we now it becomes 1 over 20. Now when we divide percentage change in demand divide by the percentage change in price, it becomes 4. How can we interpret? We can interpret this is actually 4 over 1. Actually in denominator is 1. It shows that when price changes by 1%, it would bring 4% change, 4% change in demand, 4% change in demand. In whatever the cases, for example, if price increases by 1%, quantity demanded decreases by 4%. If price decreases by 1%, quantity demanded increases by 1%. If we calculate Q2 minus Q1, P2 minus P1, the answer always be negative here, but we ignore the negative sign actually, because it's a convention. Always price elasticity of demand, answer would be in negative. So this is the concept of the price elasticity of demand. We have a 5 cases of the price elasticity of demand. For example, the first case is perfect inelastic demand. In this case, whatever is the price, there would be no change in the demand, but this case is categorized as a impractical case, and when we calculate the price elasticity, it becomes equals to 0. For example, if we have a given answer, ED equals elasticity of demand equals to 0, it refers the perfectly inelastic. Now what actually is, it's a it's a unit elastic case, but before this we need to understand the perfectly elastic demand. What does it mean? Whatever the quantity demand, the price would never be changed, and sometimes it says the price elasticity of demand is infinite, and it has a perfectly elastic demand. Means if we measure Q2 minus Q1 here would be 0, and something when we divide by 0, it means there is no change in price. P2 minus P1 would always be 0. So when we divide something by the 0, it becomes infinite. So this case is called perfectly elastic. Now in between these two cases, a case which is called unit elastic. Unit means 1, means when we calculate elasticity and the answer is 1, this is called unit elastic case. And what it refers 1% change in price brings 1% change in demand, and the nature of the goods sometimes called are normal goods, which can be used in daily routine life. There are some two cases between these are relatively elastic or relatively inelastic. You can try to understand by drawing these two cases